This is a very special Shabbat because it's the 51st anniversary of my bar mitzvah. It's the 81st anniversary of my father's bar mitzvah, and it's also special since it's the yofer of our children, David and Alexis. At the beginning of our Torah reading, you heard the 10 Commandments. You stood, you listened, and you took it in. It was different. It sounded different. It felt different. Hopefully it moved you in a different way. You climbed the mountain with Moses and you waited below. You considered his experience with God. Where was he? Why was he taking so long? To us, it's incomprehensible, almost eerie. Moses on top of Har Sinai, one-on-one with the Almighty. What were they doing up there? The truth is that Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses our teacher, was attending a 40-day seminar on life from his teacher. For 40 days, God gave Moses a lecture, which included a great deal more than the 10 Commandments. 53 commandments in all, 24 positive and 29 negative. Rabbi Samson Raphael Hirsch, the great traditional rabbi of the 19th century Germany, described the scenario of the heavenly lecture. During the time God lectured to Moshe, he told Moshe exactly what to write down. These are the words of the written Torah. But there was a lot that was said during the great lecture in the sky that Moshe was told not to record. According to tradition, Moshe also received a great many other laws and explanations, information God gave to him, along with the freedom to share this gift with his students and disciples. So here we have the basis for both the written Torah and the supporting oral tradition. It is virtually impossible to comprehend the words of the Torah without accepting an idea that there was an accompanying oral tradition. For example, in the Torah, God said, "Put a sign on your hand and frontlets between your eyes." But nowhere in Jewish tradition is there a discussion as to what that meant. Yet everybody from day one interpreted it in only one way: that there would be a black leather box containing parchments upon which 4 sections of the Torah are included, and that these boxes would be worn as part of our daily homage to our God and our faith. These tefillin worn by Jews throughout time are never fully defined in the Torah, yet are comprehended by all. The same is true of ritual slaughter of meat, which is called shechita. Never was it understood in any manner other than the way we understand it, even in the 21st century. The Torah itself is a book of laws representing Jewish conviction that the will of God is translated into action through law, and the oral law supports the Torah law, as shown in these examples. Together, they frame Jewish religious obligations, lifting us to put goodness over everything, mandating rejection of evil and the continuous pursuit of righteousness. The Vilna Gaon on his deathbed was approached by his students. They wanted to know the true essence of a life guided by Torah. The Vilna Gaon said to them that the Torah could be reduced to 2 principles. One is the learning of Torah. The second is the performance of Torah. Chesed, loving deeds, acts of compassion and kindness from one person to another. All the rest of the commandments are means to discipline ourselves so that we may focus on these 2 principles. 2 principles, all those commandments. But let's get back to the Big Ten. After all, football season will be starting soon. And because it brings us back to this week's Torah portion, Va-Ethannan, in which Moshe speaks to the people, giving them the 10 commandments he brought down from Mount Sinai. He directs them to neither add to nor diminish God's commandments. He tells the people that they must follow the mitzvot, and when doing so, they will act as a shining example for the nations of the world. Moshe reminds the people that they, the entire Jewish nation, heard God at Mount this revelation and the wonder of God must be taught to succeeding generations. No other nation has or will ever have this unique personal relationship with God. As it is written in the Torah, Moshe emphasizes to the Jewish people that because this special relationship exists, and I quote, 6 days you shall labor and accomplish all your work, but the seventh day is for the Almighty. God commanded that in addition to the Jews resting on the seventh day as heathen, they should also have all of their work accomplished at the conclusion of the preceding 6 days, also as heathen. Resting on the seventh day is a concept we can certainly grasp, but I doubt there's anyone here among us who feels that they truly completed all of their work come Friday afternoon. We all leave the office with our inboxes overflowing, having countless emails still unanswered, and several projects that are behind schedule. We even have a mental to-do list to tackle immediately after our commanded day of rest. God wired us to be doers. So how is it possible to understand and comply with the commandment to have all of our work completed at the end of the week? The answer, if you accept it, might just be one of the most liberating concepts to which you've ever been exposed. When God commands us to have all of our work accomplished, we have to understand what work God means. Our work is our effort, and it is our effort alone that is left in our control. It's God's and only God who controls the outcome. So it's only our effort that God says we should have accomplished. Our rabbis remind us in Pirkei Avot that the day is short, the work is difficult, and the master is demanding. But they also tell us that we are not expected to finish the work. We are required only to keep ourselves devoted to it. We are not commanded to complete. We're commanded to do our best. Therein lies a powerful message. On one hand, the number of things we have to do will never end. But that's okay because the only thing God demands of us is the effort we put forth in our endeavors. Therefore, God tells us for 6 days we need to put in the necessary effort to make a difference, and then our work is completely accomplished. On the seventh day, God wants us to take a breather and stop putting forth any more effort. That covers part one of Moshe's message. 6 days shall you labor and accomplish all your work. But there's a part two. The seventh day is for the Almighty. So the seventh day is more than just a day of rest. It is a day we give to Hashem. We come to shul, we pray, we study Torah, we spend time in the heavenly pursuit of family and personal relationships. In this way, 6 days of work culminates in 25 hours of holiness, and together we uphold the Vilna Gaon's charge. Together we learn Torah, and together we live Torah. If we understand this two-part life-changing concept, we will no longer feel overwhelmed and overburdened, and will be far less stressed. We will no longer be shackled by the amount of work that is constantly before us. If we feel out of control, we are spending too much time consumed with the outcome. When we focus on effort and not outcome, we will have a more balanced life. And when we give at least one day of the week to God, that balanced life becomes a holy and peaceful life. This Shabbat Nachamon is also known as the Shabbat of Comfort. It is the Shabbat that begins the 7 weeks of consolation leading to Rosh Hashanah, a time for climbing the ladder and moving toward a spiritual destination. So I ask, where do we start our spiritual destination? Let us begin with our roots, our own teachings, our own law. We are commanded to observe the statutes and the laws of the Torah. They are considered to be our wisdom, understanding, and our blueprint of how life should be lived. The one thing that sets Israel and our people apart from the rest of the world is the Torah. Our Jewish way of life, as laid out in the Torah, is our moral anchor. Our purpose in life is to make the world a better place, to to bring it closer to a state of perfection. So it appears that the answer to where and how we can regenerate ourselves is found within these walls of our synagogue, in our homes and in our hearts. As I see it, that's why God gave us the commandments and their accompanying ritual and tradition. Our holy celebrations, religious traditions, Shabbos family dinners, and milestone events like the one my family is joyously celebrating this weekend. Help and protect and guide us. It is the bringing together families and friends and community to connect with one another, to attend our beloved synagogue, establishing new and old relationships, transmitting a positive identity and value system from parent to child, inspiring us to perform on a higher level, a level of sanctity with one another. As the Parashat teaches, we need to do our part for 6 days by putting in the proper effort in our job, doing mitzvah, and giving ourselves to family and community. Along the way, though, we must always remember who is in control. Turn the seventh day over